This is a doubling cube position that was sent to me by one of my students. And, there is such a thing as the quiz factor. The quiz factor means that because somebody showed you the position, it gets your antenna up and you start to see things and notice things that maybe you wouldn't look at otherwise. For example, reds on roll cube action. Most people would not even think there was a possibility that you should double here. But because I'm showing this to you as a quiz or as a problem, you're thinking, hey, this is tricky. Maybe this is a double, and I would have missed it. So maybe you would think about doubling here only because of the quiz factor. I must tell you that over the board, if you happen to be playing along here, most people would not even consider doubling here. I'd like to tell you the truth. The truth is that I am a good enough player that I would consider doubling here. I can't swear to you that I would have, but the answer is you should. Now, I would have stopped. I would have thought, gee, I always use Wolsey's law. If I were blue, am I taking or dropping? And I would come to the conclusion, there's no way in the world I'm dropping this cube. So then I would start thinking about, are there some real market losers? And it would occur to me that there are. If I can come in and hit, that's huge. How many market losers are there? I would count them. I would count exactly how many numbers hit, and I can tell you very, very quickly it's 11. And if I had to count them over the board, I'll show you how I come up with 11 so quickly. I'll do it my way. First, I see what hits. If I come in with a 4, 4 hits. That's 1. 4, 5 hits. That's 3. 4, 1 hits. That's 5. I can't think of any other 4 that hits. So there's 5 4s. I come in with a 5 3. I hit. Now I'm up to 7 hits. 5 4. I already counted the 4s, so I'm not going to count 5 4 again. So I've got 7 hits. 5 6 hits. That's 9 hits. And 5 1 hits. I'm up to 11 hits. There's nothing else that hits. I can cover it perfectly well by going through every single 4 and every single 5. So I'm going to hit 11 times. So I have 11 market losers. There's no way in the world, if I come in and hit, that my opponent is taking the cube next time. Well, I won't say no way in the world. Maybe there's a joker he can roll depending on what I hit with. Maybe if I hit with a 5 3 and he rolls a double 1, maybe he can take. I don't know. I don't think so though. So I'm going to count those 11 as market losers. However, what are my anti-market losers? How about all the times that I don't come in? Well, are they really anti-market losers? What really hurts me if I don't come in? There's an obvious number right off the bat. His best number is probably double 4. His biggest problem in this position is getting these two checkers out of here behind the 5 prime. So that's why I would say double 4 is probably his best number. But look at this. The 4s are duplicated. 4 1 makes this point. 4 2 makes this point. 5 4 makes this point. 6 4 makes this point. Several of the numbers that I fear the most that he could roll, which is if I dance or even if I come in without hitting, and that he makes a point, duplicate the 4s that he needs to move these back checkers. In my mind, by the way, some of those plays I'm not even sure whether he would move out or whether he would make the point, but I think I've come to the conclusion that if I danced and he rolled a 4-1, he's probably going to make the point and worry about these checkers coming out later. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's true, but that's something I'll test later to see if I'm right. I could be wrong. So, here we are with 11 market losers, and what happens if I don't come in? I know that there are 16 rolls that don't come in. How do I know that so instantly? He has 4 points made. 4 times 4 is 16. There's a combination of 16 numbers that won't come in. That's a quick trick that I've learned to know that I don't come in 16 times. There's 36 rolls. I come in 20 times. I know 11 of the 20 times I come in hitting. That means that 9 times I come in without hitting. When I come in without hitting, I'm in a little trouble, but not terrible trouble. But let's see what my worst trouble is. Let's say that the worst happens. Let's project this forward. I don't come in, and he rolls a good roll. Let's say he rolls a 6-1. I dance, and he rolls a 6-1. How bad am I in this game? Take a look at this game. I still like my game. I still am favored in this game. I'd much rather be red than blue. So when the worst happens, that I dance and he makes the point, it's not the very worst. Again, the worst would have been double 4. But this is pretty bad. This is a pretty bad scenario for me. I'm still a favorite. I'm still in pretty good shape. Well, let me prove it to you. I would say that I'm a favorite, but I've already checked this, so I know I'm telling you the truth, so I won't make a fool of myself in this video, but I really thought this ahead of time. I didn't know how much I was a favorite here, but I'm still a favorite. It's about a 60-40 favorite. You're about a 60-40 favorite. However, with him holding the cube, I'm not really that much of a favorite. Let's see. Let's give him holding the cube, and let's say that I dance, and now let's put him on roll, and you'll see that I have less than 40%. And by the way, these are cubeless numbers. These don't take into account holding the cube. Now, I'm only 55%. I was less than 60%. I was 60% when it was my roll, and I could come in. So now I only have 55% with him holding the cube, and with him on roll. And with him holding the cube, this is probably pretty darn close to a 50-50 game. So in a worst scenario, if I don't come in, if he makes a point, and if I dance, I'm still a slight favorite in this game. That's why it's such a highly volatile position that's going to change in one roll that you can't afford not to cube. I'm going to put the original position back. I had already saved this position by hitting Control-C. I'm going to hit Control-V as in Victor to put it right back so I can look at it again. And again, this is a position where you're going to be very, very sorry you didn't double if you hit or if things go well, and you won't be that sorry if things go wrong. By the way, if things go very, very wrong, you're going to lose 2 points instead of 1 point. If things go very, very well, you might win 4 points instead of 1 point, or 4 points instead of 2 points, because that's what it really is going to cost you not to double here. It's risk-reward. That's what's so much fun about this game. Everything is weighing risk-reward. Tell me that this isn't analogous to life, where you need to take a risk in order to get the rewards. If you're not going to ask that girl for a date, you'll never get to marry her. If you don't have the guts to ask her for a date, if you don't have the guts to invest your money in IBM in the 1960s, you would never be a multimillionaire in the 1980s after IBM has gone up 10,000 times. So risk-reward. It's all about life. That's what backgammon's all about. But if you don't see why this is a double, at least see why you should stop and think about it. Every single roll is a cube decision if the cube is live, whether you double or not. If you just roll here, you've made a decision not to double, and you need to stop and think about it. It isn't always quite so obvious. We can make it more obvious. I'm willing to bet you that the top players in the world would have thought seriously long and hard about giving this cube, and they might well give the cube. By the way, they might be right to hold off, even though Extreme Gammon says it's right, because it is going to be a matter of the luck of the dice on the next roll as to whether or not the cube paid off. And if you're the best player in the world, maybe you don't want the cube to get up higher on a highly volatile roll. But if I'm sitting here and I'm playing against Falafel or Mochi or Matt Kongaya or Stick or Neil Kazaros or Michi, or those are all the top players in the world, John O'Hagan, all these really great players, I should certainly give this cube, and I guarantee you they wouldn't be happy that I was smart enough to double here. So be smart, have fun, put pressure on your opponent, and count the shots. Stop and think about the cube every time. You'd be making a 5% error roughly not to double here. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this one fun, and thanks to my students for sending me this. They send me, my students are sending me at least a couple dozen positions a week to look at. They're all very, very interesting, and we both learn from them. This is what makes my game better as well as theirs. Thank you for the position, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.